G'day and welcome to the second in our tutorial series on how to use the polyweb. Last time we had a look at how to vote on the ballots. This time is the secondary part of the voting platform, and that is the socio-political polls. Now I'll just flick you over to our inlay screen. Now that's the ballot we ended on last time. Now up the top here next to the ballots, which is the main menu item, you've got socio-political polls. Now these are just to gather the opinion of the people on a mass scale. So we can sort of help define policy, develop concepts that will improve the future of the country by understanding what people want and desire for each individual part of this country. So without getting too complicated, here we go, we'll have a look. This is the there's only a couple up on the new instance. Let's have a look at this one. We've got, would you support a universal basic income in Australia? Now the idea of these is to get a general consensus on what people think. So would you support a concept of a universal basic income in Australia? Now in October 2016 ACOS released a new report revealing poverty is growing in Australia, with an estimated 2.9 million people, or 13.3% of all people, living below the internationally accepted poverty line. Okay, there's more information there. It explains a bit. There's a universal income for the purpose of this poll is a non-means tested transfer of income up to a rate set by the current poverty line. Okay, so you can see it's sort of set up like a ballot, but there isn't any parliamentary information. The idea is to take into account the information provided and then cast a vote, just like on the ballot. The difference with these is you do not have to be registered on Polyweb to vote. There are some restrictions. You can only register once with an email address and only one vote per IP address per poll. So it limits, you can't vote more than once unless you really try to, and those votes are usually isolated and found because they happen very quickly. But that's all explained down here. Now all you have to do to lodge a vote is put in a name. It doesn't have to be a complete name, just a name to say that you put something there, an email address, and then you do the capture part and then submit. Now below we have the results so far of this socio-political poll, and wouldn't you know it, 100% of people polled, which is 26 people, have voted yes, they would support a basic income. Now that may change, it's only 26 people, so there's still a lot of people to go to get any significant kind of outcome with the data. Now as an extra to this one, if you choose to oppose, a secondary box, if you choose to support this poll, a secondary box pops up and asks you, how do you think it should be funded? Because that's pretty integral to the whole concept of a basic income, and this helps gauge people's understanding of the public purse and how these kinds of things are financed. So anyway, we've asked the question. The breakdown of that has been, there's been 20 selections for public purse, 16 for corporate tax on large businesses, and only 3 with private tax on individual and small businesses. And then we have someone has offered up a other answer, and they've said land tax, which is a good way. Now right down the bottom here is a video that was a TED talk. Now it's not conclusive or by any means the only information on the internet about basic income, but it's just to give everyone a basic idea of how would this benefit. People can quickly jump to the assumption, oh, it's a cost, it's a cost, it's a cost. But until you actually understand how a basic income system would work, and that money gets re-spent into the economy and all the rest of it, it all makes much more sense. Now that's not to sway your decision one way or the other, it's just so that you have a uniform understanding of the concept before making a vote. And even if you make a vote, the video is interesting anyway. Now also, once you vote on a socio-political poll, you can't change your vote. So unlike the ballots, there is no way to go back and go, oh no, I've changed my mind, because that just won't happen. What we will do is we reset the socio-political polls at a set interval, which hasn't been deemed yet, and once that time point has met, it'll reset, and then we start gauging a new gauge, like working out, oh, is it still the same, or has it changed since the last time we've run this poll? Alrighty, well, that wraps up the socio-political polls, and thank you again for joining me. I know these are pretty rough and ready, but hopefully they're helping you understand how these things are going to count your voice when it comes to matters of importance and parliamentary matters. Alrighty, well, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.